I think we feel a need of being represented within an industry that doesn't always represent us and representing through either pieces and then also our campaigns. We did a De Lo Mío campaign for Hispanic Heritage Month, and we just had the greatest time shooting and like celebrating who we are.
That was Tania Reyes, founder of The Sourced Studio, and this is Epicenter NYC. We connect our communities to news, information, and each other. I'm your host, Amber Castillo. Imagine this. It's the middle of the pandemic, you're looking for a creative outlet, and a simple trip to Michael's sparks something big. That's exactly how The Sourced Studio was born, starting with DIY chain belts and growing into a Latinx-owned accessories brand, specializing in permanent jewelry, a charm bar, and statement pieces that celebrate heritage and underrepresented communities. Today, I sit down with The Sourced Studio founder, Tania Reyes, to learn more about the ups and downs of launching a business, from the first pop-up that made $0 to finding a niche that resonates. We'll also talk about the power of authenticity in branding, lessons learned as a first-generation entrepreneur, and how social media and community support helped The Sourced Studio grow. Before we jump in, a quick message from our team.
Hi, I'm Mariana from the Epicenter NYC team, and I have an important health question. Have you experienced unexpected brain fog, fatigue, or mood changes? These may be symptoms of long COVID. Most people who have COVID-19 completely recover, but some have lasting symptoms and health problems. If you need more information about what this means, we can help. Long COVID is real. You can stay protected by keeping up to date with your vaccines. Don't let COVID derail your health. Schedule your appointment today. Send us a note at hello@epicenter-nyc.com or call or text us at 917-818-2690.
Now back to the show. Here's my conversation with Tania.
Hi, my name is Tania Reyes. I'm the founder of The Source Studio.
Tell me about your business.
So The Source Studio was founded during COVID. It was founded during a time that, everyone needed some creativity. We ended up just going to Michael's and playing with chains and jewelry and ended up making these chain belts. And I had this idea of why not sell it? And then that kind of just snowballed into actually registering for a full business. And then The Source Studio was born. So we're a Latinx-owned accessories brand. So we also do permanent jewelry, a charm bar, and accessories. Everything is rooted in our culture as well as representing underrepresented communities. So yeah, we really try to represent everyone and do our best to make sure our community and our voice is heard.
And when you talk about that first trip to Michael's, can you elaborate a little more on that? What kinds of things are you guys experimenting with? And was this something you guys had been thinking about for a while?
So I have a background in fashion, and ever since I was little, I either wanted to be two things. I wanted to be a fashion designer or Shakira. I grew up to literally be neither. So with the fashion designer part, I went to FIT for production. So I had a really good grasp on manufacturing, how factories work. And also I have been making things my entire life, whether it's clothing, whether it's DIYing. I just always loved making things. And during COVID, it kind of just sparked an idea. I had never picked up a pair of pliers before. So that's when I just started making these chain belts, and I started researching on Pinterest and really getting into trend forecasting as well. I used to have a trend forecasting blog called Trends and Threads. So that really helped me just see what the girls what are we feeling? So really it just became this whole snowball effect from my past coming into my future in this time where we're all just in a weird space and we just want an outlet.
Could you say a little more about the steps to even starting the business? What was the toughest part about opening up a business for the first time?
I think the toughest part is that you don't learn any of this in school. And I don't know if you're first generation, but I am. Yeah. So it's my dad worked at IHOP. My mom worked in a factory. They had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I learned English in school. it was just this whole thing of like navigating, like, how do you even start a business? Like, how do you file taxes for your business? Like, what is an EIN? Like, what is a tax certificate? Like, thank God we live in like the world of, information, and you can easily look things up. You can easily, and now with like ChatGPT, it's even better. But really, it's like the first step is identifying like how to even start a business. Like, what are the steps? So, like, what state you're going to file in, your EIN with the IRS, and then really looking into like where do you get like the best materials? Like, what are the best materials and who are those vendors? And then also like the creative part, right? It's not just all like black and white legal things. It's like making a mood board. Like, what is the inspiration? How are we going to translate this? How are we going to sell this? Like, what price do we need to be where it's obtainable, but we're also like making a profit?
You were saying about just a little bit about how your work experiences, other work experiences, inform your work at the Source Studio.
Yeah, so I have a background in product development and production. So essentially, what that means is through agency work, which is what I do, there are clients that come to us and ask for us like a product that they're going to launch. And like maybe they want like an influencer box, or maybe they want something for like their Broadway show. And my job is to bring it to life. So whether it's like they have no idea what they want and I have to come up with a deck of ideas, or it's something that they want and I have to make a spec for a factory, which is essentially specifications that say like the material, the size, any important details like logo decorations. And then from there, I partner with my factory to make it. I also deal a lot with like logistics and profit margins. So really that experience helped me so much with my business because I was able to know how the manufacturing process works, how to work with factories, how to get like things that every business needs, like packaging, like little like maybe gift with purchases, like how much should a gift with purchase even like cost, and how does that make sense with like my profit, and really understanding profit margin, because you need to know like how are you going to sell this? Is this too expensive? Like, will a customer pay for this? So really that experience helped me so much in at least like laying the foundation and knowing like a little bit of like how to run a business.
How long have you been doing this kind of role?
It's been almost 4 years. So I went to school for production, started in production too, did a little bit of like virtual styling in between. And then I found myself back in like the product development production world. And I love it. Like I have, and it goes back to me being little and like me just always like making things. And I've been lucky enough to have a career and a business that has allowed me to create.
Got it. So you still do this other work in production or in some of this other business during the day.
Yes, I do not recommend. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Like if when there is like passion, you find ways to make it work, but it's a lot, like I wouldn't sugarcoat it and say like sometimes I'm not like burnt out, but I definitely have like rules now where like for example, I don't work on my business on Fridays. Like Fridays is like my chill time after my full-time job. But you find ways to make it work, even if
Yeah.
sometimes it's not glamorous.
What are some challenges you still have in running the business?
I think sometimes as a small business, like your biggest challenge is getting out there. And that's why I'm so thankful for like platforms like this that help small businesses get their voices because, like sometimes advertisement can be so expensive. So you really have to look for opportunities and network and like see how you can get your voice out there, because I really do believe, and I was having this conversation with someone earlier in the week, like there are so many small businesses that are great, amazing. But the biggest problem that we have is like getting out there. Everyone like is great, it's just like, how do you get your voice out there and how do you let people know what you have?
Yeah. How have you been able to keep yourselves out there and make this sustainable, for a bit? Because it's not just you also have your team.
It's been pop-ups, it's been organic social media, it's been micro influencers. We've been lucky enough to like partner with bigger influencers as well. And a lot of times like people just want to like support a small business. So it's great. And then For pop-ups, it's been great because you just meet so many like people within like a local community as well, especially here in New York. New York is big, but New York is also very small. Like everyone knows everyone, especially at like pop-ups, and you just build so much like friendship with other vendors and you understand each other. So also like going back to like the time we made $0 and 0 cents, like now pop-ups are great. Like I feel like we cracked the code, we like understand the market, we know what to do. And then also like again, like social media and those influencers as well help.
What brings you the most joy in your business?
It's definitely like the creative part of it. I have always been creative. I have always loved fashion and just like dressing up, like accessorizing, but also just like creating. Like I love creating something from scratch. Like we have so many ideas coming down and like so many projects. But also it's just like meeting people. You know, you meet people and you're that sometimes like aren't represented in like these standard jewelry brands and they're like, wow, like you have a Peruvian flag, like you have a Trinidadian flag, like, and also with our flag necklaces, we partner with a nonprofit from each country and we donate back to.
Wow, how did that collaboration happen?
With our flag necklaces, we started with DR and PR. I'm Dominican. My boyfriend is Puerto Rican and Haitian. And I was like, okay, like, let's start off with that. And then everyone, rightfully so, kept asking, like, hey, like, do you have Haiti? Do you have Mexico? Do you have Peru? And I'm like, no, but we should do this. I'm not from those countries, but how do we do this in like an ethical way as well? So I came up with the idea of looking and researching for nonprofits that have like different purposes. Like we have one for Mexico that's from Oaxaca that helps like small businesses, women owned businesses, with grants to start their own business. We have a really great one from DR called Líderes Latinos or Líderes Latinas, and they partner with girls, boys, anything to help like take them to camp, just help build houses. It's a great organization. So it's things like that that you can represent a lot of people, but also give back, you know?
Yeah. What are some of your best-selling products or kinds of jewelry?
Yeah. So I would say I actually have one on. It's our rich bitch ring. Our Lucy V necklace as well, this big cross. And then I have to say, the Puerto Ricans always come through. We are always sold out of our Puerto Rican necklace.
That pride.
I love the Puerto Rican pride. They inspire me. We are always sold out of our Puerto Rican necklace. Every pop up on Etsy, online. I'm like, gotta love it.
What are your future plans or vision for the business?
Yeah, so we're actually working on launching men's. So a lot of my cousins are asking me, they're like, hey, like, you know, we love obviously the flag necklaces and the charm necklace, but like, how about men's jewelry? You know, like, did you ever think about that? And I'm like, you know, I think that's a great idea. So that's what we're currently working on.
Uh,
We're also working on like expanding like our permanent jewelry. So we do permanent jewelry on site. So essentially we weld. So we weld bracelets on. Yeah. So you can wet it, you can live in it, and you can pick an optional charm. So you pick your chain and then you pick your charm. And then we do anklets, we do bracelets, and it doesn't come off. You live in it.
Wait, what do you mean by permanent? Like
So
literally?
yeah, well, you can take it off if you want to, but there's a jump ring, and then pretty much a jump ring like opens and closes. And then with my welder, I actually have my little machine here. I'm able to zap it. So essentially, this needle, like it melts the two sides of the metals together, creating like a seamless ring. And then you don't take it off.
Oh, so it's like even in the shower, wherever, like you don't have to worry about kind of that wear and tear.
Exactly. You could take this to the Rio in DR. You'll be fine.
Got it. And what do you think makes you guys unique or special in what you do?
I would say our community, and I would say celebrating our community. We celebrate where we come from, we celebrate who supports us, and we never forget. I think we feel a need of being represented within an industry that doesn't always represent us. and representing through either pieces, like even our cafetera necklace. It's a cute greca necklace. And then also our campaigns. We did a De Lo Mío campaign for Hispanic Heritage Month, and we shot at Colorway Studios, who we met at an event and gave us that space for free. So shout out to them. And we brought a domino table. We brought Café Bustelo. We brought a greca, and we just had the greatest time shooting and like celebrating who we are.
Okay, is there anything I didn't ask that you wanted to share about yourself, the business, the business story?
I would say if there's like anyone that's thinking about starting a business, like the hardest part is always starting. You're going to figure it out, and just know that no one knows what they're doing is what I have learned. No one knows what, even like the most confident people, like people started somewhere, it might have not been perfect. It might not have been pretty, but you started, and that's the most important part.
Yeah. So where can folks find you online?
So you can find us at thesourcedstudio.com, at The Sourced Studio on all social media platforms, and at The Sourced Studio shop on Etsy.
Great. Thanks, Tanya. The Source Studio has a pop-up during New York Fashion Week on February 1st in Bushwick, where they'll be celebrating with a Bad Bunny-inspired photo activation. Be sure to follow them on social media at The Source Studio for more pop-ups, the latest collections, and behind-the-scenes looks at their creative process. You can also check out The Source Studio online at thesourcestudio.com. Lastly, if you know of a local business you think Epicenter should feature, let us know. Drop us a note at hello@epicenter-nyc.com. That's all for today. Thanks for listening, and thanks for supporting us as we do our best to support our community. We couldn't do it without you. For more stories like this, make sure to subscribe to our newsletter at epicenter-nyc.com. Our intro music is All the Pretty Horses by Caravika. You can find more of their music on their website, linked to in our podcast description.